Wednesday, and welcome back to day 2 of Clarity Week, where we are talking about all the KPIs that are important for elite AEs and sales teams to be getting consistent revenue, moving their deals forward so they can meet their revenue goals and their quota attainment. For those of you that weren't here yesterday, my name is Leah Borges. I help elite AEs and sales teams who are frustrated by inconsistent revenue, inconsistent or fluctuating quota attainment, and I help them create repeatable systems and processes that are going to solve this problem. So come along with me. This is day 2 of Clarity Week. Yesterday, we talked about the discovery call to presentation or demo KPI. And if you missed that video, I can drop the link below, or you can just DM me and ask me, and I'll send you that video recording. But today we're talking about the pipeline quality KPI and the 3 steps that we need to take in order to determine what it is, if we're doing a good job, and troubleshoot it and fix it if it needs fixing. So come along with me today. And again, this is Clarity Week Day 2. I'm really, really excited to bring this material to you. So as I was putting together this presentation, initially it was just going to be like 5 or 10 minute live, which is what I usually do. But the more I really thought about it, and the more I looked at some comments and the DMs that I get, and just understanding what my clients need and what they're asking for and what they struggle with sometimes, I realized it needs to be a little bit longer. So bear with me. This is a little bit longer. It's really in depth, but I think it'll be worth it if you stay till the end, because it's really going to give you some insight as to how to really fix those KPIs and fix what you're doing inside your discovery call so you can have more qualified pipeline at the end. And if you're a sales leader, we're going to show you how to gamify this so that we get the adoption that we need from the sales team, and that it's not just like they're not just putting things in the CRM or looking at the CRM because I said so. They're actually going to want to do it. And AEs, this is because a lot of times the information that we put in the CRM, it's not being used, or it's not helping us close deals, right? That's why it's not being used. So we're going to fix that in this live. So again, this is a little bit longer than I planned initially, but the topic, the subject matter, it just requires us to go a little bit more in depth. Okay, so the first thing we have to understand is activity does not equal progress. Okay, I know we hear that all the time, but sometimes we end up in the soup. Remember yesterday I said we're in the soup so much, we're into our activity, and we always hear more activity, more activity, more activity, right? And sometimes we're focused so much on the sheer numbers that we forget to focus on the quality of it. So that's what I'm going to help you with, and I'm going to help you come up with a system that you can measure this KPI by every single week or bi-weekly if you need to up-level your discovery and make it more effective and resonate with your buyers a little bit more so you can hit your quota. So, okay, again, activity does not necessarily equal progress. Here's an example. If we have 10 discovery calls and at the end of it, we only have 2 highly qualified opportunities, right? So a lot of times what I see, like we talk about, and you guys can drop comments, I'll see A's, we're rushing through our discovery, right? We're not getting all the information that we need. And then we are putting those in as opportunities, right? Which, if they're not highly qualified opportunities and they drop off later, or the sales cycle ends up being longer than it needs to be, those are not real opportunities. And that's what leads to the pipeline bloat. And then what happens is at the end of the month or quarter, we're like, how come these opportunities didn't convert? It's because we don't have the quality. We are focusing more on the quantity versus the quality. And a lot of those opportunities, they're just not real. And this is what happens in my experience when I'm working with clients or just talking to AEs or sales teams and looking at their pipeline. A lot of it is just not real. So let's go forward and solve this problem. So here are some of the main reasons why your pipeline might not be converting. For the purposes of today, I don't have time to go through all of this. There's just way too much material, but you can see here, we have different types of pipelines. We have the symptoms, so what to look for. We have why it's failing and how you can fix it. So let's look at number 1. We have a pipeline full of fluff, right? So the pipeline is packed full of stuff. It looks like it's busy. It looks like it's doing something, but at the end of the month, end of the quarter, we have very little to show for our efforts. So some of the symptoms of that: loss of deals, low close rates, etc. Why it's happening: the deals are just not qualified, or they're not highly qualified, or the prospects weren't serious because we, as the sellers, didn't show them the value. And here's how we're going to fix that: through ruthless qualifications. We're going to stop chasing maybes, right? And we're going to slow the discovery call down and get the information that we need. Is going to both help our buyer and help us either DQ the deal, disqualify, or move the deal forward. Okay, so this chart, again, if you want a copy of this chart, you can DM me. I'm happy to send it to you. This is one thing I need to address, and it needs to be said like time and time again. Like if I could say this 10 times without boring everyone, I would. Repeatable systems beat hustle every day of the week. Okay, so a lot of times what happens is, as sales leaders, we're not training our team, we're not coaching our team, we don't have a system to train and coach the team to, and we throw them out there and we're just like, hey, go sell $2 million worth of our stuff. Okay, and how are you going to do this? You're going to hustle, you're going to get prospects or whatever. We need to slow it down, and we need to have a system for AEs to plug into. And AEs, if your organization has a system, you need to look at it and see from your day-to-day work if it's actually optimized, if it's working for you. Okay, so again, systemized processes beat hustle every single day of the week. And actually, it looks like when you're doing the system that it's going to slow you down, but actually what it's going to do is it's going to push you forward, and it's going to accelerate you. It's going to accelerate everything that you're doing, because you know exactly what you're looking for every single time at every stage of the sales process, right? And you're going to know what to look for. You're going to know how to troubleshoot faster. You just need to have a system and a process that works for you and whatever product solution that you're selling. So let's slow it down when we're doing discovery. Put a system in place. Again, I can help you with that. You can DM me if you need help with that. And stop the hustle mentality. Slow it down enough to put the system in place so that you have it every single time throughout your career. Okay, so yesterday we used a football analogy to signify moving our deals forward and opportunities and the sales process. So let's look at step one of the discovery quality KPI. The first thing that you want to ask yourself, if you're gaining real yardage when you are in conversation with your buyer in the sales process, in the sales cycle, the first question you want to ask yourself is, if you're gaining real yardage, are you making progress, or are you just having conversations that shoot off into nowhere, right? And this is where having the system comes into play. In order to ask the proper questions to your buyer, have your buyer engage and really do problem solving, this is the first thing that we need to do to put that system into place. So the first thing is, when you're in discovery, when you're going into discovery, you're asking questions. Am I getting real yardage, or am I asking unrelated questions that shoot off into nowhere? And there is a misconception amongst the sales community that our buyers don't want to be in discovery with us. They don't want to answer questions. That is actually incorrect, and it's not true. What is true is they don't want to do discovery the way that the other 10 sellers did it with them. They don't want to be in that kind of discovery, which is asking unrelated questions, not problem solving quickly enough, not presenting a possible solution enough, and not empathizing with them. They don't want to be in that type of discovery call. They are normally happy to be in discovery where you're actually asking questions that connect the dots for them and that makes sense, right? So this is why we're asking ourselves, are we gaining real yardage during our process? And I'm going to help you do that with the next graphic. So if you don't know, this is an American football field, right? And if you look at it, it's a graphical representation, and we're looking at this for a reason. Everything that we do is either putting us closer to the end zone, so we're either making yardage, or it is setting us back. We're getting a penalty, we're losing yardage, or we're being set back even further from the end zone, right? And there's 5 yardage markers. There's five places that signify that we are making progress when we're going up the field. In other words, when we're in discovery and we're having conversations with our buyer, and we're actually starting to connect the dots for them, and they're getting it, and we have really good rapport with them, and we're hitting some of those emotional chords, and we're finding out what it means to them to solve X problem. So again, with this graphic, we can see what we're doing during the discovery is either moving us further away from the end zone, or it's taking us further into the end zone. So we're either going further towards the end zone or moving further away. We're losing yardage, and ultimately, if we're not doing the right things, we're going to lose the game, right? I mean, we're deep into NFL season, football season now, so I know a lot of you can relate to this. So just keep this graphic in mind, and we're going to come back to it. So think about making progress towards the end zone to the touchdown or not. Okay, so here are the 5 yard markers that we want to think of. When we're in discovery, these are the things that we are looking for, that we're trying to accomplish. We're looking for, did we uncover the problem or the issue? Did we uncover what the impact is on the organization? So impact to their revenues, their expenditures, et cetera, something material like that. Do we know who the decision maker is? Are we certain that we're talking to the decision maker, or do we at least have visibility to what is important to our decision maker? And have we uncovered pain, motivation, and urgency? Okay, so let's take this last bit, pain, motivation, and urgency. Let's talk about it a little further. And again, I don't have time to go into all the intricacies of discovery, but I do want to give you some context with regards to this. So 85% of all purchases are made emotionally. It does not matter if it's a technical product, if it's a, not a technical product. It doesn't matter if it's highly technical or not. 85% of buyers make decisions on an emotional basis. So what does that mean? It means they're always thinking what's in it for them. And they're also thinking, if I take this recommendation, if I push this forward in my organization, what is the risk to me? Personally, professionally, et cetera. What does it mean to me to present this, to buy this thing, to make the recommendation? My name is on the line, right? My reputation is on the line. So are we uncovering all of this, right? So a lot of times we focus on uncovering the pain, but without the emotional connection, right? So 85% of purchases are made emotionally. Without having that piece, there's no buyer motivation and no urgency. So we need to focus in on this last bit of it, pain, motivation, and urgency, along with these other ones. And again, if we go back, let me just go back to this one football graphic. Okay, so if we go back, the pain, motivation, and urgency, just like a holding penalty is worth 15 yards. Missing that pain, urgency, and motivation piece is going to set you way back. It's going to set you back further probably than any of those other pieces, right? Because you're going to get to the end probably of the sales cycle, and you're either going to be ghosted, or they're going to pick somebody else, or they'll just go with the status quo. Okay, so if you look at this chart, 15 yards is quite a lot in the when we're talking about an overall sales cycle, sales process. So that bit of it is worth more than all the others. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. We want to go further towards the end zone, not further away from the end zone. Okay, so we're looking for a problem, impact. We're looking for the decision maker or decision makers. In many, many cases, there's more than one. And then we have to uncover the pain, motivation, and urgency. And one other thing when we're talking about uncovering the pain, okay? So when we're having conversations with our buyers, people are more motivated by avoidance of pain than gaining something. So when you say something like, our product will give you 20 times more efficiency, versus our product is going to help you not lose 20% of your sales, they're going to attach to that latter one that I just talked about, right? 4 times the avoidance of pain is more effective when we're talking about buyer motivation than gaining something. So that's why when we're talking about all the benefits and the features of our product, it doesn't resonate. And then we hear crickets later and we wonder why. That is why. Okay. So again, pain, motivation, and urgency is akin to, if you miss those, 15, maybe 20-yard penalty, and you're going to have to go all the way back from the beginning, and you might not even get a second chance. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're hitting these 5 areas. So our discovery call quality KPI. This is a KPI that you will probably not hear about in a lot of cases, or if you do, what you're going to hear is it's a checklist, a MEDDIC checklist or some kind of checklist inside the CRM. And we're going to see if we check all these boxes and then we're going to move on. So it's not really that simple, right? We need to be able to connect the dots and look at the actual quality and look at the context, the entire context of the conversation to figure out if we hit all 5 of those elements. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to track the percentage of the discovery calls that cover all 5 and actually have relevance, that actually connected the dots. And the hallmark of a great discovery call is, did you uncover the pain, the urgency, the buyer motivation? Did you also uncover what's in it for them? Why would they put this forward? Like at a very base level, it's like, why are your buyers buying? Okay. And this is one of the things that I ask my clients when I'm looking at their pipeline or I'm looking at an opportunity. We're talking about a specific opportunity, right? A lot of times they'll text me because they have access to me by text. And they'll text me, they'll be like, okay, I haven't gotten a response back from this particular client, or they told me that they're going to call me later. And my number one question is, why should they buy from you? Don't tell me the reason. Tell me, did you find out why the buyers buy? Did you find out what it meant for them? Go to your CRM and let me see if you did that. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. So now we got to go back and get that information, because if we don't, then we're going to end up in cricket land with this particular opportunity. It's not going to go anywhere, right? So this is why it's very, very important that we understand we need to uncover the buyer pain, the urgency, the emotional piece, which is attached to the buyer motivation to move forward with the deal or move forward with the conversation, or at least say this conversation was worth me going to the next step, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to track the percentage of calls that not only cover all 5, but that we have connected the dots on. And we have a salient conversation that all links together and we're starting to connect the dots. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go to the next step. Step 2, how to track it. So it's the number of calls with all 5 boxes, with all 4 to 5 boxes, divided by the total number of discovery calls that you've had. And we're calling this the 5-point deal check. Okay. So to measure your discovery quality KPI percentage, we're going to take the number of discovery calls we did with all 5 boxes and a connected conversation by the total number of discovery calls. And to do this, it's super simple and easy. All you need to do is pull that report and see how many discovery calls you did for the week. Look inside the notes. Do I have that information? Is it making sense? Did I connect the dots? And then you can do the calculation and you have your percentage. It's super simple and easy. If you do not have a spreadsheet that can do this, I highly recommend you make one. I can make one and I probably will. But this is one of the KPIs that's inside the discovery to demo/presentation KPI that most organizations don't track. They're not tracking the actual percentage, so they don't actually know what they need to go back and fix, or that the entire sales team is off track, and that is inhibiting their win rates, and that is affecting the forecast and the revenue and AEs. It is definitely going to affect whether you meet your quota or not. So we want to do this calculation at the end of every week or every 2 weeks or however often you need to do it. If you're new to this, or you're new to the concept of tracking your KPIs and understanding how to use them, that's the other part, right? We don't want to just track it for track's sake. We want to track it and know how to use it and how to adjust or so forth if we need to, and use it for our improvement so that we can see our quota attainment going up over time. we connect better with our buyers, and we're not leaving money on the table. Okay, so let's do this 5-point deal check. This is the formula. So this is what it may look like, right? So sales leaders, sales managers, VPs, owners, you can gamify this system, right? You can gamify this, like make it a fun thing that your reps are going to want to do and want to track, and make it a little bit of a competition. So this is what it can look like. So we have the A's on one side, we have the total number of discovery calls for each, we have the 5-point checklist, and we have the quality percentage, right? So you can gamify this, like make prizes and so forth. It's really super simple and easy. You can just make a spreadsheet, make it easy for everyone to see. And then in your sales meeting, because you are having a sales meeting, right? Or you are having a forecast meeting, right? Then you can present this and give a prize, give some type of bonus or something like that. So that way, this is one of two purposes. Every AE knows what they need to fix going forward, and we're going to coach them on how to get better and how to get that information and make it make sense, right? We're not just gathering information, we're actually gathering it and making it make sense in terms of the buyer's business, so we can push the deal forward and we can help them with a solution that's actually going to impact their revenues, impact their business overall. We're going to help them get better, increase profits or decrease costs, whatever the case may be. We gamify the system. Now we don't have just numbers in isolation. We don't just have numbers on the gong stats, right, that aren't really being used properly. We have a system where the entire team is moving in the same direction and they can get better together. And there's different other ways that you can gamify this. Like, I don't have time to go into it, but there's other ways that you can gamify this to make it fun and easy for everyone. And when we start doing this, it's just a blast. Like, I can demonstrate this at some other time. This is one of my favorite parts, but you can have a leaderboard and so forth and so on. But anyway, so we're measuring the quality of the overall discovery call for each AE. And we're seeing that some have 50%, some are middle of the road, and some are at the top. And over time, you'll see the entire team moving, and that quality percentage, that KPI, that discovery call quality KPI, that's super important, is going to start trending up over time. But only if we're doing this with every single person and we're moving those deals forward and we're making the adjustments. Okay, why this matters? It should be pretty obvious, but it's because low discovery quality is equal to fake pipeline. Okay, so how many times have we gotten to our end of the month or end of the quarter and realized that we had so many opportunities that were either stalled or they're stuck in one part of the sales process, one stage of the sales process, or they're just not happening and we're pushing them month to month, and we might even push them into next year since we're already in November. We're already at November 4th. So it matters because low discovery quality equals fake pipeline and equals inconsistent revenue, inconsistent win rates. And for AEs, for my AEs out there, your quota attainment is directly tied to how your organization does, which is tied to the entire bonus of the sales team, right? So we want to make sure that we're not having fake pipeline, fake forecast. We want higher discovery call quality, and we definitely want to track that KPI over time. Okay, so number 3, when you have the percentage. So on the previous couple of slides, you saw one of them was low, one of them was middle of the road. So as soon as we realize, again, we're tracking this over time. So after 2 or 3 weeks, as soon as we realize that discovery call quality KPI is dropping, or it's not as high as we would want it to be, to where we know we're leaving money on the table, the key is step 3, we want to fix and adjust it fast. And because you have the numbers and because you have the data, you'll know how to fix it. You know that you need to fix it. And let's go on to fixing it. So before we have our discovery call, here's what we want to do. We want to prep for our ICP and the problem that they're likely to have. So we need to be crystal clear on this. And this is one of the things that, I can help with. We help map out the problems that your ICP is likely to have and how to respond to that, and also how to communicate that in such a way that it resonates not just with data, but it resonates emotionally with them. And remember, with 85% of purchasing decisions being made emotionally, we need to have that bit on there. If we are not appealing to their emotion or what it means to them, those deals are going to fall flat. It's just not going to go anywhere. We're going to add that checklist to the CRM. So those 5 points that we talked about that's going to move us up the field and closer to the touchdown, we're adding those into the notes in the CRM. If there's not a field for them, we're adding them into the notes so that when we go into the deal, we can clearly look and see, do we have those 5 elements? Did we connect the dots? Is it making sense? And we can understand where we're headed. And then we're going to review the patterns weekly for yourself. If you're an individual contributor, if you're an AE, you're probably already doing some sort of tracking, but this is going to take it to the next level, and it's going to make you much more successful. And you're going to send to the top 10% of AEs in your organization, which is who I love to work with, because you guys are proactive and you're all over continuous improvement, right? So these are the 3 things that we want to do. You are not going to move a deal until we have earned the presentation or the demo, and having these 3 elements in place is going to help you do that. Okay, so next, here is your action plan. Okay, start measuring this week. If you didn't start measuring yesterday, we're going to start measuring this week, right? So yesterday we talked about the discovery call to presentation or demo KPI. You should have a good idea of that number, but if you don't, you can start tracking that. Then inside that, we're going to track the discovery call quality, and that is what we're focused on today in today's lesson. Add the 5-point checklist to your CRM, 4 to 5 points. We're going to track our discovery call quality for 2 weeks. So say your discovery call to demo/presentation, it's already really high. Let's just assume it's really high because you're all high performers and you know how to do your jobs, right? You're amazing at your job. But within that, we also want to take a look at the quality. And these are the little micro things that we need to look at in order to take our performance to the next level. So we're looking at the discovery call quality percentage. We're going to use data and not guesses. And again, it's always depth over activity. So we want to slow the process down so we're not rushing through the discovery. We don't have commission breath, right? Because again, we're never doing anything that's not in the best interest of our buyer, that's not helping them with their revenue, that's not helping them reduce their expenditures, that's not helping them accelerate some of their processes, right? We're never doing anything that's counter to that. So we always have our integrity intact, but we're moving it forward because we know that this is our product, solution, or service is going to help them in their business. It's going to help them with their organization, and it's going to help them personally, right? They're going to look good. They're going to look like the hero of their organization, and they're going to be able to help more people inside the organization and help the organization make more money, which is always great. So again, we're going to add that checklist to the CRM, and I'll flip it back in a few minutes. We're going to track the quality for 2 weeks. We're going to use data, not guesses, and then we're going to see, by doing this, we can see what we need to adjust. We can see what we need to fix. If we need to ask different questions, we're going to start doing that. Again, we can gamify this process. We can have meetings about it. There's so many ways that we can use this and fix this, but this is really the key to making sure that you have quality pipeline and that those opportunities are almost certain to close. And not just close, but close at the ARR that they should close, to where you're not discounting your face off to get the deal because you're competing against someone else. And that's a whole nother live, but that's what this is about. So start measuring this week. So we're going to go on offense with this. We're going to own the data. We're going to own the wins. And we need to be tracking all these things off our CRM. But the first step is to use your CRM to put the data in so that when you do the tracking, you can look and see exactly what was said, right? You can look and see exactly what you need to ask differently or what you need to do differently. So let me just go back to that checklist. Again, we're looking for the problem, the impact of that problem on the organization. We're looking for, did we uncover the decision maker? And again, did we uncover pain, motivation, and urgency? So these are the things that you want to have in your CRM so that when you're tracking the quality KPI, your discovery call quality KPI, that you can look at these things at a glance. It's not going to take you forever. And you can figure out, okay, my discovery call, the quality KPI is going up, it's going in the right direction, or it's flat, I need to fix some things, or I'm actually losing yardage. I actually got a penalty on the last 10 discovery calls because now I have to go back and ask the buyer for more information, or I have to have a bigger, longer conversation or more in depth conversation, and they're just going to set me back, right? So, this is why I say slow your discovery call process down so that you're hitting all these points. We are not just gathering data, but we're making the data make sense in the context of our buyer and their business and where they need to go. And in doing that, we are going to fix our discovery call quality KPI, and then we can focus on the other ones. But this is super important. This is like step number 2 after you understand your discovery to demo/presentation KPI and that that's going the right direction. Then we want to dig deeper into this micro KPI. It's what I call a micro KPI because most organizations aren't tracking it. And this is one of the things that can really help up level your discovery call skills, the number of deals that you convert, the number of deals that you close, and for sales leaders, the number of team members that are actually moving in the same direction and positively impacting your forecast, your win rates, and making your revenue more predictable. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you found value in this, please DM me. I do coach AEs one-to-one, and I have a couple more spots before the end of the year. And the reason why I say a couple more is not just marketing speak. It is because I work very deeply with clients. I focus on getting them quick wins. And it's not something where I can work with 10 people at a time, right? So my time is very limited because of the way that I do work. We get very deep into the KPIs, into the numbers. I get you some quick wins and so forth. So I have a couple of spots for that. If you want to have a discussion about that, please DM me and let me know. We can have that conversation. If you need a copy of this presentation, I'm happy to send it to you. Please, again, DM me here on LinkedIn. And I will see you tomorrow for our next KPI. I wonder what that's going to be. But you'll be able to access this recording anytime it's up on LinkedIn. And if you caught me on YouTube, please do check me out on LinkedIn. I answer all my DMs and I answer all comments. Okay. So see you tomorrow for Clarity Week, day number 3. Talk to you soon. Have a great